Hello, I'm Michael Beck. I am the owner of 4starseo.com and $100.com, and this is part of the series that I'm putting together, instructing how to build a network of websites in order to earn $100 per day in passive income. Um, so obviously, this is something that everybody would like to do, as far as like make money, basically just doing nothing. But the truth of the matter is, um, there's no way to make money doing nothing. You have to do something. But whenever you're talking about making money passively, um, there's a lot of work that goes into it beforehand that you don't see. So while the ultimate goal is to um, uh, have money coming in while you're sleeping, um, essentially, Uh, the truth of the matter is it's going to take a lot of work in advance to do that. You're going to have to build a lot of websites, and that's what I'm going to be showing you how to do. So when I talk about building a lot of websites, I mean talking about building um, a minimum of probably 10 to 15 um, to get to $100 a day. And that's we're going to be looking at like some keyword research a little bit later in a different class, different lecture. But as of right now, I'm going to show you basically because you're going to be building a lot of websites. It doesn't really. I never thought it really made a lot of sense to pay for a hosting account for each one of those sites. So I'm going to show you how you can get a hosting account that will be able to host 100 or more websites on it. Um, it's the techniques I'm going to be showing you. Some of them you are going to have to spend some money, but it's not like a huge amount of money. It's a little bit of money, so just be prepared for that. I probably guess that you could probably get by with spending um, maybe a couple hundred every 3 months or so, and I'll show you where that money's coming from. But you can choose to have different web hosts if you want. That's just the web host that I use. But anyway, I'm going to show you some things. What I'm going to show you in this is the very basic part of building a website and getting you online. I'm going to show you how to register a domain name. Where I register domain names. I'm going to show you where I got my web host. I'm going to show you how to point your domain name to your web host, and I'm going to show you how to install WordPress onto a domain name. Um, and then you're going to have to repeat the process as far as like building, putting additional websites on there. But that comes a little bit later. So let's just kind of jump into this, into registering a domain name at first. So I actually use Namecheap mainly because they are pretty cheap. Um, you can see some of the .coms. These are on sale right now, but some of them, typically, this is about $10 or so a year for a domain name. But I'm not going to worry too much about as far as like a keyword that I in the domain name itself. We're going to do that a little bit later, but this is just the process of actually registering the domain name. So all you're going to do is just basically find a domain name that you want to register. Um, I'm already signed in here, so we want to do any more sign. What, an account is free here. Accounts most places are free, but I'm going to start off just by kind of searching for a domain name, and I'm going to register one here real quick. But um, uh, let's see. Um, well, I already did like phone telescopes.com. I'm going to see if cell phone telescopes.com happens to be available. You type it in there, and then this will show you if it's available. So there. Oh, that's a pretty. That's kind of surprising. So cellphonetelescopes.com is available for $9.48 a year. So wow, I got pretty lucky there. I was not expecting that to be available. But so you just add it to the cart right there, and then you view your cart when you're ready to check out. So here it is right here. We're about to check out. I'm confirming my order for $9.66. That's for 1 year. And then once you kind of go through here, I, all you're doing is putting in your payment details, obviously, and you're doing your receipt and everything, and you just fill in the information and then click Pay Now. You know what? I'm not going to buy this one because I already have phonetelescopes.com, but I'll show you on the back end anyway. I already have a bunch of domain names back there, so I'll show you. But I would just basically just click Pay Now, and that's it. And then we'll go through like a process where there's two steps registration automatically. It does a couple of different things. It sends you an email confirming that you own it. Okay, so I'm going to go into my dashboard. I'm going to show you as if I had registered something else because I have another one in here that's uh, pretty new. This are vampiresreal.com. Um, that one I registered pretty recently because I have a vampire. There's a page on Facebook that I run called Our Vampires Real. Um, feel free to go join it if you like. But so that's really it. Let's pretend that instead of cellphonetelescopes.com, I registered ourvampiresreal.com because I did do it. I did register that, and it's right there. So this is what the back end looks like. Um, at some point, once we get the web host, we'll have to go into manage right here, and then we're gonna have to fill in these. This is the way it looks right here when you first register it. It just says Namecheap, basic DNS like that. But I actually changed it to my own custom DNS, which is ns1.t1k.com, ns2.t1k.com. Those are my name servers. Um, you don't have to worry about that part of it because what's going to happen is once you get your web host, they're going to send you an email that has your name servers in it. And then once you have those name servers, it'll say name server 1 and name server 2. You're going to come back into this area of your domain name and you're going to put your name servers in these two sections right here. Okay, and then that will basically point that domain name to the correct web host where your website will reside, if that makes sense. So I just clicked that right there. I just want to make sure that it stays the same right there. So the web host that I use is Host for Geeks. They're actually pretty good. Um, they're fairly cheap for what I need, and what I need was they have these different services right here. So this is remember when I mentioned that I didn't want to pay for like a new web host account every time I started a website, every time I started a site. So in order to not do that, you have these options right here, these reseller accounts. Um, Reseller accounts are usually for people who do just that. They basically put up a website that says they are the web host, and then whenever people purchase hosting from them, they go in here and they create an account for them on this reseller thing because you're allowed a certain number of accounts. So I use the premium reseller one, and I use this RSXXL. That's the one that I have, and that has unlimited disk space, unlimited bandwidth. cPanel accounts, that's the number of domain accounts basically you can have. So like every cPanel account is a different website. So I can have up to 100 websites on this thing for $40 a month. So I pay quarterly. So I have like 3 months that I pay for, and I think it's like 140 bucks, something like that after tax and everything. So for 3 months, for 140 bucks, I can host 100 accounts, 100 different domain names. And the number of domains hosted is unlimited. That's because they're talking about subdomains as well. You can create an unlimited number of subdomains. We're not going to get into that, so don't even worry about that. And as far as they also provide SSL certs for every single account as well. Um, and you don't have to worry about the WHMCS. That's if you actually did want to resell accounts. Um, but so they also give you like the SSL certs for free. And then there's like just a ton of more things on here, but I'm not going to go into all of these because you don't really need to know them. You only need to know that basically this is what I use. You can use whichever web host you like, obviously, but this is a pretty good one. So I'm going to go into this real quick. So here's my service right here, and that's how much I pay for it quarterly, just like I mentioned before. So whenever you are hosting like a reseller account like this, if by chance like you're not going to do the reseller, then you can probably skip past the next part, next lesson part. But if you are going to do um, a reseller, there's a few more steps that are kind of involved as far as like um, the setup. Okay, because you have to create like a new account for each domain name that you're adding, for each website that you're creating. So I'm going to show you how you do that. I set this up. T1k.com. T1k.com is my domain. Also, I set that up as the primary DNS server. Again, something you don't need to worry about. We're not going to get into the technicalities of that or anything like that. This is supposed to be a pretty simple tutorial right now. So I'm going to go into this backend real quick of T1k.com. Um, So this is kind of like the back end of the reseller account where you can kind of like see, here's all the accounts that I have kind of set up already. Um, our Vampires Reel is already set up right there, but I'll show you real quick how that process would have gone. It's creating a new account right here. It's putting the domain name in here, putting a username that doesn't really matter, a password that doesn't really matter, retyping the password doesn't matter because we're never using them. Choosing a package that's the primary package that I basically set up before. Again, not something we're going to go into. You don't need to worry about it. It's only all it is. Just basically, it allows. It's these kind of settings right here, and it's just making these kind of default. And I would click create right there, and it would create that account. It would create this back over here. Okay. And I said these passwords don't matter. It's because once you have a master password for a reseller account, at any place, anywhere you have like a master or you have reseller accounts, um, you can use just your master username and password to get into any account. So I'll kind of show you how that is. So this is the reseller backend, okay? And this that I'm logging into now with my master password, my master account, say never saved there. This is cPanel, and this is the back of one website. This is the back end of t1k.com. That's the current user. But if I wanted to, I could go into our vampiresreal.com right here. And now I'm in the back end of our vampiresreal.com. Okay. So I'm going to go to our Vampires Real. Hopefully I don't have this pointing anywhere. I don't think I do. Okay, so I actually had put up a vBulletin uh, domain here or vBulletin site there. But it doesn't have to stay because Nobody's registered there at this point. So to set up a WordPress site, let's say I have this forum here set up. This is a forum that's set up here for now. Um, but let's say I also wanted to include a WordPress site on the same domain. So I wanted something at slash WP. This is invalid page URL, but that's because there's nothing there right now. So let's say I wanted to set up WordPress at ourvampiresrule.com/WP. So here's, if you scroll down to the bottom here, so this is, again, this is the back end of ourvampiresrule.com. So if you scroll down, this is cPanel. Scroll down to where it says scripts down here, Softaculous Apps Installer. Softaculous is it's a whole bunch of different apps that you can install on your website. Okay, so one of those apps is WordPress. So, and these are all the other ones here once I clicked into there, so you can see all the ones that you can install. Any of this stuff, just tons of things right here you can install. It just keeps going. I'm not going to show you all of them, but it's just like a ton of stuff in there. You can create like a website just at the click of a button, basically. So here's like the WordPress installer. So what I want to do is install it. So I'm going to click install now. And then it's going to you choose an installation URL. It's https ourvampiresrule.com/WP in that directory. And that's the version I want is 5.8.1. The name of the site is going to be Our Vampires Real Spooky Vampire Things is the site description. We're going to keep this this right here the same, admin, and we'll just make it password. We'll keep that at the default. Of course, you'll want to change you'll want your password to be much more difficult than that. And you don't have to worry about these right here. And I'm not going to have it email installation. I'm not going to have it email installation details to me because I already know how to do this. But if you if you'd like to, you can kind of put your put an email in there, and I'll show you the it's gonna show you the text on here that would be in an email when I click install. So I'm gonna click install. And that's it. It's installed. So this is what your email would say, basically right here. That's the reason why I didn't get it sent to me, because it just tells you right there where to go to log in as an admin and where to see the site. So we're going to click on that to see the site. There it is, right there, WordPress. And the place it said to log in as your admin is just adding WP-admin at the tail end, right there. I'll go ahead and do it manually. And then admin and password. And that's it. So this is the back end of WordPress now. So this is the back end of the Our Vampires Real WordPress site. Here's the front of it. And we're going to the back of it again. It's as easy as that. It's very easy to install. From this point on, we're going to, I'll go ahead and do a couple of things right here real quick to kind of show you. The theme. There are two different kinds of themes that you can add. You have the free ones or you have the paid ones. Paid ones typically have a lot more options to them, but free ones will work just fine for what we're doing. So you don't need to spend any additional money on a premium theme if you don't feel like it. If you'd rather have it look a different way, um, you can, but Google is not going to care how your website looks. Google looks for content itself. So having a premium uh, theme is not going to help rank you, but it will make your users like you better. So because it will look prettier to them. But for our purposes, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to keep these. Once you go up here to appearances, themes, add new. These are all the ones that are free. Everything that you see on here is going to be free. So to get like a premium one, you'd have to go to something like Envato, Envato, um, which I'll show you over here. So once you're here, you go to our products right here, and then go to Envato Market, which is themeforest.net. So this is like where you could purchase themes and plugins, different kind of plugins. But if you had like a specific kind of WordPress theme or website template for any project you wanted, so you'd say like in the you go to WordPress popular items. That's one thing you can do. One way to get to it. So these are obviously the themes and how much they cost. Um, and then you can kind of see like here's just I'm picking one at random. Here's a preview of a newspaper 11, whatever this is. But they're pre. I just clicked on view all pre-built websites. So with this particular theme, you get all of these also. All of these come with it. So you might pick apparently something like this. Here's a demo of one site, and it's going to be just as easy to install as the free ones are. What you'll do is you'll purchase it, and then you'll get a download link. It'll be a zip file, and you just would go to. I'm back on our Vampire's Reel. You would go to upload theme right here. You'd browse for the zip file, and you'd install now, and it would install. Sometimes with these other premium themes that are um, they're really involved, you may have to install some other things, but it will walk through it. I'm not going to go through every single theme, and because it's going to be way too many, obviously. But uh, I'm not going to go through that. If you do need help with something, if you decide to buy a premium theme and you need some help with it, most of the time the premium themes are going to have support that comes along with it. So you'll be able to kind of send them an email and say, hey, I need help doing this, or sometimes they'll install it for you. Um, but so that's kind of the difference between the two. I'm going to go ahead and install a free one here. Blogstream. So I just click the preview button. It's kind of showing me what it will look like once it's installed. This is simple enough. This is actually the one that I'm using right now for $100.com. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using it by the time this course goes up, but I'm using it right now. So I'll just click install right there. And I'll activate it. And then it takes me back to this screen where these are the different themes I can choose from or add additional ones right there. But if I go to visit the site, this is now the new theme. I go back. I'm going to click customize. Whenever you click customize in that section, this is showing you where you can like make different customizations to the look of the website itself. So for example, um, I believe let's go to theme options right here. Yeah. So you have the footer right here, just to kind of show you. Here's footer credit is on, and that's where it says powered by WordPress, theme by Alex. You can turn that off. and then refreshes it for you and shows you what it's going to look like. Publish that change. It's published. And now if I go to the site, that part's gone right there. Okay. So this part I really suggest that you kind of go through here. And I, for the purposes of what we're going to be doing, I'm going to be using the same theme for every website. And the reason why I'm going to be doing that is because it's for simplicity's sake. So I'm going to become more accustomed to this theme as I go along. This is the first time I kind of saw it on here, like when I added it to uh, when I made it the $100.com theme. That's the first time I saw it, um, and I don't need it to be anything fancy or crazy or anything like that. So um, I'm keeping it like that. And like I said, it's nice and clean. It's a very clean theme. Um, so it's all going to be kind of like all the blogs are going to be lined up right down here whenever we start writing articles. And yeah, it just makes it's really easy to work with, and that's all we're going to need because that's all Google's going to be looking for is content itself. So, and this is a really good one to build the content the way we need to build it. And that is about it. So yeah, I will see you in the next tutorial.